Speaking of screwing it up, we got a story about BlackBerry. I did not intend to have that particular segue. And for the record, I feel like BlackBerry was always in a hard spot with the amount of growth that they had. BlackBerry at its peak was around 20% market share. I mean, that's enormous. They just were so far ahead of the game in terms of smartphones, and somehow it's been nothing but trouble since. It's just you're up against these massive players. Of course, the iPhone started it, and it's just been, well, pretty much a disaster ever since, so much so that they've basically gotten out of the smartphone hardware business, and then that was outsourced or licensed to the Chinese company TCL. And apparently TCL is now about to stop making the BlackBerry phones that they make. So it might be the real RIP, R.I.P., the RIP, as the youngsters of 2020 like to say. Of course, I don't keep up with that. You do.
Did you own a BlackBerry?
Absolutely. I owned a bunch of them. Oh. And I had the BBMs.
Do you have fond memories?
I was on the BBMs. Okay. There was a time where that was the cool thing to do.
Yes.
Where
encrypted.
Add me on BBM, dude. Yeah. What did you call it? Your PIN?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me your PIN. What's my PIN? I got a PIN? I feel important. I got a PIN? I'm just a guy in high school. I got a PIN now? Sick. Yeah. You go from high school to Wall Street in like 2 minutes. You just got a PIN. Anyway, so TCL, about their deal. Okay, so to be clear, this is an article from Business Insider. The company keeping BlackBerry phones alive will stop selling them later this year, marking the final nail in the coffin for the once dominant phone brand. All right, so it doesn't necessarily mean the end of BlackBerry hardware. BlackBerry could rapidly attempt to seek out some next partner and create some sort of a licensing deal. But the fact that TCL didn't re-up, it's kind of some indication that it ain't so hot. It's like you got a free agent, Will, in sports, and he doesn't get the contract extension offer.
Yeah.
They're like, nah, we're good. Yeah, go test yourself in the open market. Yeah, go be a free agent. That's not a good feeling. Go have fun. Yeah, go see what you can get in the marketplace. It's fine with us. No, man, when it's a hot commodity, that next deal, they get something done. So the fact that there's nothing done with this after this initial agreement is an indication to me that it didn't do as much for TCL as TCL might have hoped. You can see the BlackBerry stock dipping hard. You know when Willie Doo's bringing up the market summary? We just got into business mode, which is actually your favorite mode to be in.
It's interesting to see.
Of course it is. Especially, I mean, especially if you go to max, hit max on that graph. Look at that peak right there, Will. Almost $250 a share.
When the iPhone came out.
2007, 2008, 2007, yeah. It's nuts, man. I mean, it's really crazy how things can change and twist and turn and how rapidly it can all happen. That you can go from 2007, hot, piping hot, like a hot tea on a cold winter morning.
Oh, the best.
You can go to nothing. You can go to a lukewarm. No, you're not even lukewarm. You're room temperature.
Oh.
It's the worst temperature. Room temperature? Who wants room temperature? That killed me when I was in China. Room temperature water, I died.
Yeah.
Remember that?
And it was flat.
Yeah, I need cold or hot. I can't be in the middle. I can't live there. I can't live like that. That's the straight line I'm talking about.
This is true.
Yeah, anyway, I don't know. Call me crazy. So this agreement wraps up, and BlackBerry comes out and says, look, we're not going to make a statement. We're not going to claim one way or the other that we're going to continue to make these phones, but we're going to support the current portfolio of BlackBerry devices strictly from a support perspective until February of 2022. Now, if you come out and say that specifically, you got this date, it does sound to me like you're wrapping things up. Now, in the meantime, since TCL was making the BlackBerry hardware, BlackBerry started to focus on other things with what they have remaining. Certain security products and software products and things like this. So they've transitioned kind of away from the hardware thing. They've bowed out. And also TCL has gone on to create many of their own phones. They never stopped doing that. So they don't necessarily need the BlackBerry relationship either. Plus, the company shut down BBM last May. So this could be the real one, Will. That could be the real end right there.
Are you gonna pour one out?
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
When you pour one out, though, as far as I know, when you pour one out, it's supposed to be a 40, right? Yes, you're pouring a lot out. It's weird because you see people mess with it and then they pour out a shot or something. I feel like that you're not pouring out enough. But see, it says to pour out an alcoholic drink on the ground in tribute. It's any alcoholic drink because then I'll just pour out like a drizzle. It just doesn't feel significant enough.
You got to pour the whole.
Yeah, but the whole is not even enough. I think it's supposed to be a 40. It's a big bottle. You're just sitting there pouring it out because you're thinking. Now, maybe I got that wrong. I don't know where the absolute origin was, but I think if you're going to pour one out, you got to go get a 40 of Old English or Colt 45 or whatever is in your neighborhood, and you got to pour that out. The malt liquor. You ever had one of those, Will?
Malt liquor?
Yeah, like a 40 of malt liquor of Old English or Colt 45.
Colt 45.
Okay. Wait, Colt 45 is not malt liquor, though, is it? It might be beer. Old English is definitely malt liquor. Yeah. Is Colt 45 malt liquor? That's what we need to know. Because I don't remember. I got to be honest. I haven't had one of these in a long time. So we got to get to the bottom of it. It is a malt liquor. All right. What is a malt liquor? Because you could, like, isn't a beer beverage malted as well? Because we we had the malt beer at the Korean spot and we loved it. So what constitutes a malt liquor? Anyway, of course, we're talking about Old English and Colt 45. That's what you're supposed to pour out. So you can't be acting like you're pouring one out. You got to get the fundamentals correct. And maybe I got them all wrong, but I might have them all wrong, but there are some fundamentals, so figure out what they are. I think it's supposed to be a 40, as far as I can tell. So yes, you know what, Will? That's what you and I are going to do on the next episode.
Just pour it on your laptop.
On the next episode. We're just
live on the show.
Live on the show. You're going to have an Old English, and I'm going to have a Colt 45, okay, on behalf of BlackBerry. I don't think we're going to pour it. We're going to pour it out. We'll pour out a little bit. I don't know.